Lost and found. Once again, this is Dr. Victoria Ndyanabangi. She's an old friend of mine I actually knew in high school. And I knew at the stage what she's talking about when she was overweight. And literally when I met her today, I went, like I've been seeing the pictures, I've been seeing all this amazing transformation online. But when I saw her, I said, no. Different person. It's so impressive, Vicky, what you've done.
Thank you.
So impressive. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about. This journey is really difficult. Like when I started this journey, I underestimated how hard it would be, honestly. I thought, okay, because in the past, I didn't struggle so much when I was younger. I'll just say, oh, I put on a little bit of weight, I'll jog like for a couple of days, tummy's flat again, I'm good. And then after I approached 30, became a mother, it's really not the case. So I just think I wanted to just encourage others that we all have times when we're on this journey when we want to give up. It could be like something happens, maybe someone makes a nasty comment, or the scale is just not moving. You've been at it for a month and you've lost barely even half a kilo, or maybe you're just tired, it's just annoying. You go for a party, everyone's eating whatever they want, and you always, that person says, no cake for me, no. What was the hardest part for you?
Now, the hardest part, one, the fear to fail. The reason being, by the time I made that decision, I had never been that overweight. And then I realized there's so many people you look at, once they start having children, it is almost impossible to lose the weight. So they tell you, it was okay. Before I had kids, I could exercise and I would lose weight. Now, since I had kids, I have failed. And then my mom also used to say, you know what? And I would look at her pictures in the album. My mom was so slender before she had us. Then she had the three of us, and every after a child, she put on weight, and the weight just failed to go. So I'd look at her, I'd look at all my relatives and say, you know what? Once you have children, it is impossible. So fighting that mentality at the back of your mind, those thoughts, was one of the hardest. Fearing to actually try and fail, and someone will actually laugh at you. Having been an obese child, the fear that people will laugh at you, that you know what, she tried, how could she, why would she has always been overweight. And then there were all these comments that would come along, and people laughing at you, even people that you wouldn't expect to be talking about you, because maybe you don't interact so much with them. But then you hear in the corridors that so and so was saying, why is she doing this? Why is she even trying? She's an adult, she should just let it be. She has had children, she has a spouse, she should just let it go. People put on weight, and there was all this negative feedback. So that was one of the hardest, fighting the negative feedback to actually go on. Then, like Laura has mentioned, the scale. You put in so much work and then you get into the scale, and either there is such a small change or little change, or even none, or even you've done so much work and you actually find you've gained 2 kilos, yet you've been trying to eat right, you've been working out, so you feel like, why am I doing this anyway? Is it going to work anyway? If I'm already putting in so much work and I'm getting the negative result, is it worth it? So that was the hardest bit.
What about like with clothes? Like I can imagine as a teenager, we're going through that stage, even in your early 20s, you're trying on different clothes and you want to look a certain way. How did that affect you?
Actually, it did a lot. First of all, I'm an introvert naturally. When you see me talking now, you wouldn't believe. I'm an introvert naturally. So it was difficult because then, first of all, getting clothes in Uganda was a challenge. There were very few people who had shops that actually sold clothes. Most of the clothes were bought second-hand, already worn. So you walk into a shop and maybe you're shopping, let me say for Christmas, since it's close to the season, you're shopping for Christmas, and then at that age there are age-appropriate clothes that you would want to put on. You try them on and you try on all the sizes of your age group and nothing actually fits. So now you have to go to the adult size clothes and pick out something, and it doesn't necessarily look good on you. So you walk into maybe church or you walk into a public place and people are overestimating your age. You're only a teenager, but people think you're actually maybe 25 or what have you. Men are hitting on you because they think you're of age, and yet you're not of age. So it brought down the esteem. The only advantage I had was that my parents kept trying to push my esteem high and kept, encouraging me and telling me, no, it is okay, you're wonderfully made, do not be worried. Someday you will actually be able to shed this weight, take heart, it is okay, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. But it was a struggle, especially when it would come to looking out for clothes.
Yeah.
So it was a difficult journey. It was a difficult
I can imagine. Especially everyone, of course, knows certain stages of your life, especially when you're a child or you're a teenager, you're trying to fit in. And some of us maybe don't do peer pressure that much. Peer pressure wasn't so much of a problem, but still, we want to look a certain way. We want to look, maybe we want to look cool, at least we want to blend in. And you're already dealing with those issues of, do I really feel like, I look good? Can I really hang with these guys? And then when you're dealing with, being overweight or, more bigger in size or whatever than your peers, it makes you even more self-conscious. So kudos to you because you overcame that. I have so much respect for you, Vicky. Let me just ask a little bit about body image. So I believe on my journey, I thought if I lost weight, because I've been overweight for maybe about 5 years, I said if I lost the weight, then I can love myself. And then I was a bit confused because when I was thinner or more slender or whatever, I didn't love myself the way I think I should have loved myself. But when I put on weight, I was like, if only I get back to that size, then I'll love myself. Has this impacted you in any way? Do you love yourself when you're overweight or when you're thin or when you're on the journey? How does it work?
I think for me, it's been a learning process. Then I didn't when I was overweight, I even didn't consider self-love. It was just, live life each day as it comes. So I didn't pay so much attention to my body image. Then because on this journey I was reading a lot, I got to know that actually, I probably didn't pay attention to self-love because I was muddled in all these other things. Yes, there is school, yes, you're overweight, but I didn't pay much attention to it as such. So, but as I was on the weight loss journey with all the reading and what, I realized that actually I didn't love myself enough. This is when I realized it actually. And because you get to know what are some of the reasons behind why you actually gain weight. If you appreciate your body and how it would benefit you if you were not having all these other complications that can come. And how if maybe you felt sick, you would hate yourself for not having done something about it. Then I realized, okay, I was not doing enough to actually love myself. So as I lost the weight, actually, my self-love grew. That's one thing I've realized. I now do everything, I'm intentional about the things that I do, and I try to do what will benefit me or what will benefit my body. It's not just about eating and exercise, it's about balancing pressures, it's about trying to make sure I get some sleep, some quality sleep, and when I don't, looking out for how can I make sure I get some good sleep, because I know it affects my wellness in general. It's about making sure when I do my annual checks, which was something I never thought was important, that I have a clean bill of health, and if I don't, then what can I do about it? It's about extending that love to other people and now being intentional about helping other people on the journey, because I realize that there are many people actually out there who don't realize that if you don't do this, no one will do it for you. So you have to love yourself enough to do this for you. So my self-love journey grew actually when I started to lose the weight. So that's one thing that I've realized. Because before, not that I didn't love myself, but I didn't pay much attention to the aspect of self-love. And when I started the journey, then I realized, okay, this is something I need to work on.
Oh wow. That is incredible. There's a relationship or relation between weight loss or being healthy and the emotional side of it, which is self-love. And then I also wanted to, you mentioned, yes, of course, exercise and diet. Emotionally, you have to be in a good place. You talked about sleep. You also previously talked about drinking water. One thing I've noticed on my journey, which I had no idea about, was dealing with stress levels, anxiety, just generally being in a place where you're healthy mentally. So has that had an impact on your journey as well?
Yes, it has. First of all, I'll take you a little bit back.
Yeah.
When I had both my babies, it was really stressful. The first one was extreme stress. Actually got what they call postpartum blues, which is a mild form of depression. And the reason was you're extremely stressed. You're wondering, how will I balance? How will I juggle? Will this child be okay? Will I be okay? Will the family be okay? Will I be able to meet my needs? Will I be able to meet the baby's needs? Will we be able to sustain ourselves? So there is so much going on. And then at that time I was in school, so there was so much stress, so much anxiety. Then yes, I got that mild form of depression. But like I said, you need a support system. And when you're on the weight loss journey, the truth is there is so much change that is going on. You're changing your routine, you're changing what you eat, then the clothes don't fit, then you don't want to buy new clothes because you're losing, then you don't want to completely withdraw from food that previously was comfort food, because when you're stressed, then there is food that you eat that makes you feel good, but of course that's psychological. So withdrawing from all these things that you have been used to for years can be very draining and can actually lead you to full-blown depression. Or you get anxiety attacks, which people sometimes get, or panic attacks because you're under so much tension. What if I do it and it doesn't work? So there is so much emotional turmoil that is going on that you actually have to deal with. And it's a challenge, unless these are things that people don't talk about, so that you expect it, and when it comes, you're not taken by surprise to know that actually getting healthier or losing weight, which is a process, will actually come with other effects, which I must be prepared to deal with. And that's why I keep singing about a support system. You can't do it on your own. You can't do it on your own. Right. You will always need people on the journey.